Welcome to the Connected Leaders Academy virtual conference designed to reshape your vision of transformation. As we navigate the evolving business landscape, our speakers will unveil innovative strategies to manage and initiate change. Prepare to adapt, innovate, and lead, ensuring your role as a catalyst in this transformative era.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Andre Butler here. Listen, I'm going to get right into it. I've seen leadership from just about every angle you can imagine. Now, I know I look young, but I'm a little older than I look. And growing up, I watched my dad run a traditional business where I learned that success isn't, just about working hard, but it's about working smart. I also served in the military for 10 years, and I saw how strategy, the discipline, it determined whether a mission succeeded or whether a mission failed. I like no room for guesswork, no space for excuses. While in the military, I actually worked in a presidential unit and I operated, it was like extreme pressure where every decision carried weight at the highest level of leadership. And then came ministry. I worked in ministry where I discovered that leading people wasn't just about giving direction, but it was about developing vision and multiplying leaders. And let's not forget, listen, y'all, I got 6 kids from a 13-year-old all the way down to a 3-year-old, which let me tell you something, that will test every leadership principle you think you know. And through all these experiences, business, military, the government, ministry, family, one thing became crystal clear. The greatest obstacle to success isn't like a lack of talent, resources, or even opportunity. It's you. Some leaders struggle while others scale, right? Not because one is smarter than the other, but because one understands, watch this, the keys to leadership and success. Now, when I say keys, you have to understand what a key actually does, or you're going to miss the power of what I'm about to share. A key isn't just an object, it's an access point. It doesn't matter how strong you are, how determined you are, how much potential you have. If you don't have the right key, you're locked out. I mean, you can push, you can pull, you can kick the door all you want, but without the key, you're stuck outside. But the moment you have the right key, everything changes. That locked door that once felt impossible to open, with the right key, it swings open. That's why this isn't just another leadership lesson. It's a transfer of access. Because when you get the right keys, you stop forcing opportunities and start walking through doors that were meant for you all along. And here's the thing. Every great leader, every thriving business, every movement that changed the world was built by someone who had the right keys. It wasn't just talent. It wasn't just hard work. It was knowing how to unlock the doors that others got stuck behind. So the question isn't, are you capable? Because you are. The question isn't, is there an opportunity? Because there is. The real question is, do you have the right keys? Because without them, you'll stay stuck. With them, you'll step into the next level. And that's exactly what I want to give you guys today, the 7 keys to unlocking leadership and success. These aren't theories. These aren't feel-good ideas. These are like battle-tested principles that I've learned in business, in military, in high-pressure leadership roles, in ministry, as well as in life. When you apply these keys, things will start shifting. Doors that once felt locked will start opening. Momentum that once felt stalled will start building, and the leader you were meant to be will start emerging. So let's get into it. Key number 1, the strength of your strategy determines your success. Okay. In 2012, I was given one of the highest pressure assignments of my career. I had to plan the presidential inauguration for President Obama. Now imagine this. The entire world is watching. Every detail has to be perfect, and failure, like, nah, that's not an option. Security, logistics, timing, VIP movements, every piece of the puzzle had to fit seamlessly, because a mistake on this stage wouldn't just be noticed. I mean, this would be historic. The success of that event wasn't about hard work alone. It wasn't about talent or even experience. It came down to strategy. Without a clear executable plan, like, pressure will crush you instead of elevate you. In leadership, business, ministry, whatever leadership capacity, the people who rise to the top aren't always the most talented, right? They're the ones who think ahead. They build solid strategy and execute with precision. Here's the thing. You don't rise to the level of your potential. You fall to the level of your preparation. Whether you're leading a company, scaling a business, or launching a brand, your ability to win is determined long before the challenge arrives. The question isn't if pressure will come, it's if your strategy can handle it. So here's 3 keys to a strategic leadership capacity. Number 1, reverse engineer your success. Start with the end goal in mind and build like backwards. Too many leaders, they move without clarity. They hope things will fall in place. Well, listen. Hope is not a strategy. Where do you want to go? What are the necessary steps to get you there? Here's the second one. Control what you can, prepare for what you can't. No matter how strong your plan is, uncertainty is unfortunately guaranteed. Your great leaders, they build strategies that are flexible but focused. When things go wrong, and trust me, y'all, they will, the ability to adapt without losing momentum is what separates winners from those who collapse under pressure. And here's the third one. Execute relentlessly. A strategy means nothing if you don't follow through. Some people spend all their time planning, but they never take action. The best leaders create a roadmap and commit to execution. They adjust along the way, but they never lose focus on the mission. If you want sustainable success, you need sustainable strategy. Talent will get you noticed, but strategy will keep you winning. Here's key number 2. The clarity of your vision defines your influence. Have you ever followed a leader who wasn't sure where they were going? I mean, that can get frustrating, right? Because people don't follow uncertainty, they follow clarity. One of the biggest lessons I've learned across business, the military, ministry, your level of influence is directly tied to your ability to cast a clear vision. If you don't know where you're going, why should anyone else trust you to lead them there? I remember, again, early in my leadership journey, we had big ideas, man, but we struggled to communicate them clearly. I thought passion was enough, right? To get people on board, I thought passion was enough, but I realized that passion without precision confuses people. It doesn't create momentum, it creates hesitation. Again, when I worked for the presidential unit back in 2012, everything operated with extreme clarity. Every detail was planned. Every mission had a defined objective, and every team member knew exactly what they were responsible for. There was no guessing, and because of that clarity, the execution was seamless. Here's the thing. People don't follow ideas. They follow certainty. A vague vision produces hesitant teams and confused customers. A clear vision creates confident teams and dedicated followers. So how do we create a vision people can follow? Here's the first thing you could do. Define the destination. Where are you actually going? If your vision isn't clear in your mind, it probably won't be clear in anyone else's. Take time to articulate the exact outcome you're working toward, whether it's growing, again, a company, leading a church, or launching a movement. Here's the second one. Make it simple and repeatable. If people can't repeat your vision back to you, it's not clear enough. The best leaders simplify complexity, making their vision memorable and actionable. All right. Think of how Apple's vision was boiled down to. Think different. Simple, but powerful. Here's the third one. Communicate with conviction. Vision isn't just about what you say, it's about how you say it. If you're unsure, people will sense it. Okay, confidence breeds confidence. When your vision is clear, your team will trust you. When it's unclear, they'll hesitate. Your influence as a leader isn't determined about how much you see, it's determined by how much you can help others see. So the question is, can the people you're leading articulate the vision as clearly as you can? If not, it's time to sharpen it. Here's key number 3. The depth of your discipline shapes your results. Okay, it's easy to be motivated when everything is going well, but true success isn't built in moments of passion. It's built in the daily habits that most people overlook. Again, I'm gonna go back to the military for a moment. There was no such thing as casual discipline when I was in the military. You don't wake up one day and decide whether you feel like training. It's non-negotiable. And that's why the military produces some of the most effective leaders in the world, because discipline is the foundation of execution. I've seen the same truth in business and in ministry. The leaders who thrive aren't always, again, the most talented. I want to say that again. They're not the most charismatic or even the most intelligent. The ones who rise to the top are the ones who are relentlessly consistent, the ones who show up every day, no matter what. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. Vision gives you direction, but discipline is what gets you there. Talent might open doors, but discipline determines whether you stay in the room. The leaders who make the biggest impact aren't those who work in bursts of inspiration, but those who master the art of consistency. So here are 3 pillars, if you would, of leadership discipline. Here's number 1, master the mundane. Success isn't about big dramatic moments, it's about the small, consistent choices. The best leaders are the ones who do the boring things, right? Preparing, planning, practicing, long after, watch this, the excitement wears off. Here's another one. Prioritize what matters most. Busyness, hear me, isn't the same as effectiveness. Discipline isn't just about doing more. It's about doing the right things over and over again. What's the one thing that if you did it daily would change everything? Focus on that. Here's another way. Keep promises to yourself. This is a big one for me. The fastest way to lose momentum is to break your own commitments. The strongest leaders build self-trust by following through, even when no one is watching. In leadership, the people around you aren't looking for someone who's occasionally brilliant, right? They're looking for someone who's consistently reliable. So the question is, are your habits leading you toward your vision, or are they keeping you stuck? Here's key number 4. The power of your people fuels your growth. You know, when I was working for my dad, I learned a leadership lesson that I'll never forget. So my dad, was an interior designer. He remodeled hotels all over the country. And at one point, my brother and I, we were working on at this hotel. It was in Tampa Waterside Marriott. I'll never forget this. We were reupholstering all the furniture in the hotel. So we had 1,300 pieces of furniture, chairs, couches that we had to reupholster. One of the coolest things about the job, we got to live at the hotel, y'all. We were treated like VIPs, man. We worked hard during the day and we was living it up at night, man, going to clubs. We was partying. It was crazy. We had access to the kitchen with chefs. It was what I thought was the good life. Now, at first, everything was running smoothly. We were on a schedule, getting things done, making progress. But what I didn't realize was that the people we were associating with at night were actually affecting what was happening in the day. Slowly, our momentum started to slip. We started waking up later. We weren't reupholstering as many chairs as before, but worse than the loss of productivity was the shift in our mindset. See, we became comfortable with being mediocre. Well, that is until my dad fired us. Can y'all believe my father fired us? But here's the thing. I'll never forget what he told me that day. He said, where you go and who you allow into your world will eventually shape your world. You don't rise to your attentions, you fall to your environment. He taught me that day that who I hang around doesn't just affect my money, it affects my mindset, my motivation, and my momentum. Your circle determines your ceiling. Who you surround yourself with will either fuel your growth or stunt your success. If you're constantly around people who tolerate average, you'll start lowering your own expectations. You'll start lowering your own standards without even realizing it. But when you surround yourself with high-level leaders, your mindset, habits, and execution naturally elevates. So here's 3 leadership principles, 3 leadership lessons, if you would, about people and growth. Number 1, your environment always wins. No matter how strong your ambition is, listen, y'all, your environment will always have the final say. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, not people who make, watch this, excuses for you. Here's another one. Association determines acceleration, okay? If you want to grow, you need to be around people who stretch you. If you're the smartest or the most disciplined person in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. And here's another one. Multiply yourself through others. This is huge. Leadership isn't just about doing the work, it's about building people who carry the vision with you. If you don't develop others, you'll always be limited to what you can personally accomplish. Here's the bottom line: who you walk with will determine how far you go. Key number 5: the weight of your words creates your culture. The weight of your words creates your culture. This is a big one. One of the most overlooked leadership principles is that your words don't just communicate, they create. Business, leading a ministry, leading a movement, your words are shaping the culture around you every single day. What you say and how you say it determines what people believe, how they act, how much they're willing to invest in your vision. When I was in the military, it was a little different. Communication was direct. It was clear, concise. There was like no fluff. It worked too because of the culture. Like if you hesitated, if you sugarcoated things, people could get hurt or worse, right? Authority was positional and obedience was expected. But when I transitioned into ministry, it was a little different. Well, I carried the same approach into a different environment and it actually backfired. I was still leading, I was still giving direction, still trying to build something great, but my words weren't building people, they were breaking them. And what I learned very quickly is that positional leadership will only take you so far. You can get people to comply through authority, but you can only get them to commit through culture. And culture is created through language. I had to learn that how I said things mattered just as much as what I said. In ministry and in any kind of leadership role, honestly, you can't just demand results. You have to develop people. And that means your words have to build, not just command. Culture is created through language. Here's one: the language of honor. People don't just follow vision, they follow leaders who value them. The way you speak to them, your staff, your organization, it sets the tone for the level of commitment they'll give. If your words inspire, people rise. If your words diminish, people shrink. The language of expectation. What you consistently say becomes what people expect. If you can constantly speak problems, your team is going to operate from a place of fear. If you speak possibility, they'll operate from a place of faith and innovation. And then there's the language of ownership. Leaders who create the strongest culture use words that empower, not just instruct. Instead of do this because I said so, great leaders say, here's why this matters, and here's how you can take ownership of it. That shift transforms a culture from, watch this, compliance to commitment. Here's the lesson: your words are shaping the atmosphere. You can't demand loyalty. You have to create an environment where people want to say. You can't command excellence. You have to communicate vision in a way that inspires people to give their best. You can't just lead from position. You have to lead from relationship. Let's move on. Key number 6, the boldness of your action drives your revenue. One of the biggest difference between leaders who struggle and leaders who scale, again, y'all, it isn't intelligence. It isn't talent. It's not even resources. It's boldness. Success doesn't come to those who play it safe. It comes to those who move when others hesitate. When you take calculated risks when others retreat. I've seen this time and time again. In business, in ministry, and even in my own life, every breakthrough I've experienced came on the other side of a bold decision. And let me be clear, because I'm not talking about reckless risk-taking. I'm talking about calculated, faith-filled action. The kind of moves that make you like nervous, but you know it's necessary. The kind of moments where you're playing it safe is actually the bigger risk, right? Fear delays growth. Boldness unlocks it. One of the biggest reasons businesses, ministries, and leaders don't like hit their next level is because of hesitation. Leaders, they hesitate to make big decisions because they're afraid of failure. Entrepreneurs, they hesitate to invest in growth because they're scared of losing money. Ministries hesitate to launch new initiatives because they're uncertain if people will follow. But here's what I've learned. Hesitation is more expensive than failure, okay? Because while you're waiting, someone else is taking action. While you're debating, someone else is executing. And in leadership, momentum is everything. So how do you develop bold leadership action? Number 1, move before you feel ready. There'll never be a moment where everything is perfect. If you're waiting for absolute certainty, you're already too late. Successful leaders don't wait for confidence, they move and confidence follows. Number two, trust the process, not just the outcome. Bold leaders don't focus only on what if this fails, they focus on what if this works. Number three, make decisions with data, but move in faith. The best leaders don't just take blind risks, they take calculated risks. They gather wisdom, data, and counsel. But at some point, they trust their instincts and they take the leap. Playing it safe won't get you to the next level, family. Look at some of the most successful leaders, businesses, and ministry, right? None of them got there by waiting for the perfect moment. They made bold moves when others hesitated. Apple, we talked about. Apple launched the iPhone when no one had ever seen anything like it. Amazon, right? They started selling books online before like e-commerce was even mainstream. Every great leader had a moment where they had to choose between playing it safe or stepping out boldly. Here's number seven, key number seven. The faithfulness of your character sustains your legacy. This is the master key. It's the most important key. I've seen leaders rise fast and fall even faster. Not because they lack talent, but because they didn't have the right strategy, or not because they didn't have the right strategy, not because they built something that they thought was great. It's because they built something bigger than their character could sustain. Your greatest threat isn't external, it's internal. At the end of the day, your reputation will outlast your results, okay? So here are three character commitments every leader must take. Be the same person in every room, right? The quickest way to lose credibility is to be one person in public and another in private. Here's number two. Never let success outgrow your integrity. Money, influence, and recognition don't change people, they reveal them. Number three, choose principles over popularity. At some point, you got to make a choice. You're going to have to make a choice between what is right and what is easy. Leaders with real influence don't trade integrity for applause. Okay, you can have the best strategy, the clearest vision, the most disciplined habits, the strongest team, the best communication, the boldest execution. But if your character fails, none of it will matter. Every door you've been standing in front of, wondering why you can't move forward, why others seem to be accelerating while you're stuck. It's not because you're incapable. It's not because you lack potential. It's because you've been missing the right key. But now you don't have to stand there any longer. I just handed y'all 7 keys, principles that aren't just theories. They're battle tested. They're proven. They work in business. They work in ministry. They work in leadership. The key of strategy, because hope is not a plan. The key of vision, because people don't follow confusion. They follow clarity. The key of discipline, because talent might get you in the door, but habits will keep you there. The key of people, because who you surround yourself with determines your acceleration. The key of communication, because culture is created through language. The key of boldness, because hesitation is more expensive than failure. And the key of character, because your success will only last as long as your integrity. So now the question is no longer do you have the keys? The question is, will you use them? Because keys only work if you put them in the lock and you turn. Some leaders will walk away from this moment inspired but unchanged. Others will take these principles and step into a new level of leadership, impact, and momentum. My question is, which one will you be? I've given you the keys. Now, my family, it's time to unlock what's next. Thank you guys so much for your time. I hope you guys enjoyed this training and that you can apply some of these principles as you move forward in your businesses, in your life, in your movements. God bless y'all.
Thank you for participating in today's enlightening session. As we transition to our next expert, remember that each strategy and insight is a step toward becoming a transformative leader in your field. Visit connectedleadersacademy.com to stay engaged and informed. The journey of change is ongoing. Let's move forward together.